What I'm about to share with you is going to change the game for your faceless YouTube channel. Have you ever wondered how some faceless channels blow up, get millions of views, while others simply don't make the cut? Well, what I can tell you is it is certainly not luck. What it really boils down to is the strategy behind those channels and behind those videos, and where it all starts is the video script. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to create AI-powered video scripts for your faceless channels that practically force people to keep watching. And here's the best part. AI is going to do all the heavy lifting for us. Okay, so we know that every good viral script starts with an amazing title, because if we nail the idea and then we back that up with a good script, that's how we blow up videos on YouTube. So if you watched my last video on how to come up with hundreds of viral video topics, then you would have a ton of viral video ideas that you could use to create your script. And I'll actually link to that video in the description, but we're going to be using some of that information that we came up with in that video to start our video script. So I'm going to scroll down here to some of those ideas we came up with, and we're going to pick one of these to build out our script example. Okay, so I'm going to go through this list here and find one that I like. I'm just kind of looking through here. I'm looking for one that I really think we could get a lot of people to click on. And I kind of like this one here, the 5 biggest diet mistakes men over 40 make and how to fix them fast. I think this one definitely has the potential to go viral. And remember, in this example, our niche is men's fitness over 40. So I'm going to bring this down here, and we're just going to create a heading here, and I'm going to say video script, do another heading here, do a heading 3, and we'll paste our title here. So this is the video we're going to work on. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this, and we're going to open up ChatGPT. And the first thing we're going to do here is we want to write a hook. And the reason that this is so important, guys, I can't stress this enough, is that at minimum, we got to hook the viewer in right from the get-go, right? And what I find is I spend probably 50 to 60% of my time on my videos focusing on this first 30 seconds to 1 minute of my video scripts. And when I edit my videos, I spend that much time on it. Guys, this part is so important if you want to get people watching your faceless channel. So what we're going to do here is we are going to say, I am writing a YouTube video script for a video titled, and I'm going to paste in my video title here, and then I'm going to say I want you to write an intro for this video script that hooks people into watching the entire video. Make big, bold statements that are polarizing, and write the introduction in a way that builds excitement and anticipation for what I will be teaching in the video. And let's take a look at what it gives us here. So what it's came up with here is you've been lied to about dieting. If you're over 40, everything you thought you knew about losing weight and staying fit is probably dead wrong. And that's why so many men hit a wall, working out harder, eating less, and getting nowhere fast. If that sounds familiar, stick around, because in this video, I'm going to be exposing the 5 biggest diet mistakes you're making right now and showing you how to fix them fast before they sabotage your progress for good. No more wasting time on outdated advice or following what worked when you were in your 20s. I'm here to flip the script and get you back on track, leaner, stronger, and more energized than you've ever felt in years. Let's get into it, right? So we already got a good start. Now, where this gets fun is now we can start adding some tonality to this thing, right? So if I wanted to, I could say something like, that's great. On my channel, I like to have a witty and humorous tone. Can you take this and rewrite it a little to capture that? And what you guys will notice here, and I'm not going to read this whole thing again, but it's totally changed the script to focus on that tone. So for example, all right guys, let's cut through the noise. You've been following the wrong diet advice for years. Yep, all that low carb, no carb, cardboard tasting nonsense, right? So you can see how it started to build some wittiness into it and some humor into it. Now, another approach I could have, I could say, go back to the original, but this time I want you to write this in the tone of Alex or Mosey or any other guru or person that you want to plug in here, right? And now you will see you'll get a totally different output that, or I could say, now let's try writing it in the tone of Frank Kern. And guys, this is a fun way to come up with a bunch of different variations until you dial into one that you really like. So for example, this one's like, all right, fellas, let me ask you something. How's that diet going, right? So that Frank Kern kind of casual, laid back, chill tone, right? And you could keep dialing this in until you get it how you want it. So for example, let's take this one. Let's say this is the one we liked. and we brought this over into our document, and we got that there. Now, the next thing I would be doing is I would be going through fine-tuning this how I would say it, right? Right, for me, fellas is not a word that I use in my vocabulary, so I'd probably change this to guys. And I would just be adding some stuff. Like, I like to make it sound more conversational. A lot of times what happens is when the AI writes this, it gives it to you as you were going to post this on a blog or writing it in a paper, right? So I like to write my scripts as I would talk. So I would say, are you still doing the same stuff you did in your 20s and getting what? 0 results. Yeah, I thought so, right? So I'd go through this whole thing and edit this until it sounds exactly how I would want to say it. And guys, remember, this first part of your video is absolutely key. So spend some time on this. Nail this exactly how you want it. It's that important. Now what I want to do is I want to start putting together an outline for this. But before I do, I'm going to say this. Thinking about this video topic, what do you think the biggest misconceptions, biggest questions, and biggest concerns would be when people read this title and listened to this introduction? Because what I want to tap into here, guys, is I want to tap into the people that are actually going to be watching this video's brain, right? So that's the beauty of AI. It has all this data and information to go by. So it's going to think like a human that is my target audience, and it's going to think about what big misconceptions they might have about this topic or what questions they might have and the concerns they might have so that I can address those throughout my video script. And this video is going to feel like it is custom tailored to them as they watch it, guys. And that's how you keep people hooked. So let's type this in and see what it has here. Right, so it's factoring all this in here, right? It's coming up with the big misconceptions, like I can lose weight the same way I did in my 20s, so I can crush that, right? Eating less and exercising more is always the solution, right? I can crush that. I need to follow extreme diets, right? I can crush that. And then the biggest questions, how do I fix these mistakes? Do I need to follow a complicated diet plan? And their biggest concerns, will this be too hard or consuming, right? Is this advice sustainable or long-term, or is this just a short-term fix, right? Or am I too old to see real progress? So I can address all of these things throughout my video script. So now what I'm going to do, okay, with these misconceptions in mind, their biggest questions in mind, and their biggest concerns, I would like for you to create an outline for this video that will attack their biggest misconceptions, answer their biggest questions, and overcome their big concerns. So let's see what it comes up with here. So it's giving me the introduction here, the bold hook, the one we already got together, tease the 5 mistakes and how fixing them will help men over 40 achieve better results with minimal changes. So overcoming some of those misconceptions. So it's got section 1, the problem with old diet strategies. And it's actually showing you which misconception that you're addressing, and then overcoming the second one, the third one. And then section 4, it's going into their first question, what do they need to change in their diet? And then it's going into whether or not you need to follow a complicated diet or not. And then it works its way all the way through overcoming their concerns, right? And kind of cool, it even came up with an idea for a lead magnet here that we could use to start building our customer list, right? So what I'm going to do now that we got this outline is copy this into our document. I'm just going to leave out the title and introduction because we already have that. So we'll bring this down here. Paste that in. Guys, what I want you to notice is I didn't just go into ChatGPT, give it a title and say, hey, write a video script for this. Because, guys, that is what 99.99% of people building faceless YouTube channels do. And that's why 99.99% of faceless channels fail, right? Because they're not doing real work, right? They're just creating repeatable content that anybody can create, right? Anybody can go grab a title, paste into ChatGPT and say, hey, write a video script for this. And yeah, 100 other copycats are going to do the same exact thing and get none to mediocre results, where you're going to spend time to craft a really good video that's going to hook people in and get people watching, which can blow up your faceless channel. All right, so now that I got my rant out of the way, let's go into this and write this first section, right? So I'm going to take this, I'm going to bring it back over to ChatGPT, and I'm going to paste this in, and I'm going to say, here is the first section of my outline. I would like you to take this and write a word-for-word script for this section. Please remember to write this in the tone of Frank Kern, or whichever tone you chose as you did the intro. Also, where relevant, insert real-life examples and stories that would enhance the script if you see fit. Okay, and we're gonna let it go to work. And guys, not only is it giving me a pretty awesome script here, but it's also actually giving me some advice, right? Now, in this case, we're not making a channel where we're actually gonna be on camera, right? We're making a faceless channel, so this one really isn't relevant. But leaning in and dropping your voice a little bit can actually give your video some variation, which again, guys, if I'm just talking monotone, people are going to fade off. They're going to lose interest. But this is actually giving me tips to make sure that doesn't happen, right? So I'm going to copy this into our script, and we'll get rid of all this here, because really all we need is our title for that section and then the words. And again, we can get rid of this stuff. We don't need that. I will leave that there. I'm just going to italicize it. You don't need that. Now, before I go to the next section, what I want to do is I'm going to copy all the rest of my outline, and I'll show you why. I'm going to come back over to ChatGPT, and before I write the next part of the script, what I want to say, here is the rest of my outline. Before I have you write the next section, can you write a nice and smooth transition between each section of the outline that makes the video flow nicely? And since we are working within our same ChatGPT chat, it already knows all the sections of my video, and it is writing those transitions. And what I'm going to say is, can you add those transitions to the outline so I can copy it out and paste it in one go? And we already got our first section, so I'm not going to copy that. We're just going to start at that first transition. All right, so I'm going to copy that. Back to our document here. We actually delete the rest of our outline and repaste this in just like that. And there we go. And now we got our transitions so that our video flows smoothly from section to section. And now what I would do is I would just repeat this process for each section of my script. So I'm going to say, just like you wrote the first section of my script, now can you write the second section word for word? Here is the section. And I'm just going to paste it in. Now, one thing I can do here, guys, is I always want to fine tune these, right? So as I'm reading through this, I might first of all say, this is a faceless video, so I don't need the tips for smiling or looking at the camera. Can you remove those? However, keep the ones about tonality, right? So that'll take those out, but keep the ones about the tone. And let's say I want to add some spice to this. So I'm going to say, I have an example from my own life where I way over restricted my calories, starting just drinking Slim Fast, and quickly gave up because I didn't have a solid plan. Expand out this story and add it to my script. And we'll let it go to work here. Now you can see, and trust me, I know this firsthand. I fell in this trap myself not too long ago. I thought, all right, time to drop some weight. I'll just go full throttle and cut everything. So what did I do? I went straight for Slim Fast. Yep, those little shakes were supposed to magically replace a meal. I figured, hey, if I barely eat anything, the weight's gonna fall off. And guess what? It didn't, right? What actually happened, right? And it goes through this whole story. So now, guys, I got people hooked because people relate to stories, guys. So when I plug this in, this makes our script 10 times more realistic and better, right? It's not just spitting some boring factual information to them. It's actually tying real life examples and stories into it, right? So I could copy this out, and now I have the second section of my script. And guys, what I would do is I would just continue to work through each section of my script, feeding it custom instructions just like I did to, about this story, or putting in examples or anything else I want to make sure that it talks about. I can put that in there. Like, for example, on this one, I might say, I really am a big believer in protein, right? Can you add to this section that talks about how much protein is recommended for each day, or how to find out how much protein they should be eating each day? And this is what I'm talking about when I say custom instructions, right? I want to feed it stuff that I want to make sure that it includes in this particular section, right? And now you can see, now it's giving instructions about how much protein you should eat, and it's showing them how to figure that out, right? And again, this is just another way we customize our scripts and get them to be high quality, right? So I could actually replace what I pasted over here, because now I've expanded that out to include that. Guys, what I would do is I would just continue down throughout this entire script doing exactly what I just did there. Now, for the sake of this video, I won't bore you and do that, 5, 6 more times. But what I will do is show you how to conclude your videos to get people to watch more videos. all right, which helps your channel, gets you more watch time, and gets more raving fans. So, but what we want to do here, guys, is at the end of our video, let's say we wrote all these sections, we want to write a little something that gets them to watch another video on our channel. So I'm going to come back to ChatGPT, and what I'm going to say is, actually, what I want to do is let's grab another idea from our ideas list, and we'll use that as the video we want to send them to. So let's copy this one here. And let's come back to ChatGPT, and let's say this. My next video is going to be titled this. I want to write a really strong call to action at the end of this video to get them to watch that video. For example, you might say something along the lines of, now that you know, and I'm going to copy my title here and say, now that you know the 5 biggest diet mistakes men over 40 make, you need to know how to eat for muscle gain and fat loss. And I'm just going to say, complete that and make it sound better. So what it came up with here is, all right, now that you know the 5 biggest diet mistakes men over 40 make, the next step is mastering how to eat for both muscle gain and fat loss without even stepping foot in the gym. If you're serious about transforming your body and finally getting the results that stick, you got to check out my next video, how to eat for muscle gain and fat loss in your 40s, right? And guys, I would probably actually keep that pretty short. So when I paste this over, I would probably be adjusting that. So if I bring this over to our script and paste this down at the bottom, again, just like everything, I'd be editing this to say exactly what I want. And I wouldn't say without stepping foot in the gym. If you're serious about transforming your body and getting results that stick, you've got to check out my next video, how to eat for muscle gain and fat loss. And I'll say something like, I'll leave a link in the description, and I will say, trust me, you don't want to miss this one, right? And in the video. And guys, I hope you are super excited, because this right here is a game changer that can absolutely change your Faceless YouTube channel.